it down. And I'm going to show you in a second why he didn't break it down. Okay? So that's the definition of the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. So now I'm going to go to the Webster's New World Dictionary. And listen, this is an old Webster's Dictionary. This is a revised version, but it was printed in, let's see if I even got a date. This was printed in December 1982. Okay, so let me see here. Let's go to soul. Okay, listen to what he says. Totally different. Soul, an entity without material reality, regarded as the spiritual part of a person. He's saying the same thing, right? It says the moral or emotional nature of man, which is true. That's what soul really is. It's the emotional nature of man, not so much the moral. It says spiritual or emotional warmth, force, etc. This is vital or essential part, quality. Here's the kicker right here. 5. A person. 6. A feeling by the U.S. blacks of racial pride and solidarity of, for, or by U.S. blacks. Now, why are they using blacks in this definition of soul? Of all people in the world, it's specifically targeting U.S. blacks. You don't think this man knows something? Why would he use soul and then put U.S. blacks in the same content? He's trying to tell you who we are. Okay, let's go over to spirit. Esau tell you who we are all the time. We're the only people on this planet who has a soul and a spirit, a real spirit. Let's go to spirit. Here it is. Definition of spirit. And this book is page 576. Number one, same as soul. So he says the same thing. 2, life, will, thought, etc. regarded as separate from matter. 3, supernatural being. Now think about that. Think about all our people on this planet. Are they not as supernatural people? It says as a ghost, angel, etc. Our people are like angels. 4, an individual, a brave spirit. Look at us in the U.S. military. All the things we've done. 5, disposition, mood, high spirits. They want to be just like us. 6, vivacity, courage, etc. Here's the kicker. I'm about to go into the, well, it says 7, enthusiastic loyalty, school, spirit. Here's the kicker right here. Real meaning, the spirit of the law. That's what spirit is, the law. All right, so let's drop down. So he's telling you again what it is. He said the real meaning, the spirit of the law. Let's drop down to spirited. This is lively, vigorous. Now let's drop down to spiritual, right up under that one. Listen to this. Spiritual. Of the spirit or the soul. 2. Of or consisting of spirit, not corporal. 3. Religious, sacred, a religious folk song of U.S. Negro origin. There it is again. So he's telling you now that even in the spiritual realm, it's still the Negro, the U.S. Negro. The first one said U.S. blacks. In this one, he's saying even more. He's going, you got to understand, when they use words, they are very specific in what they're talking about. In the soul, he said U.S. blacks. In the spiritual, he said U.S. Negro. Okay? So they're telling you right there what the spirit is. And remember what the other book said, that it's immortal. So who are the ones who are immortal here in America? It's something that y'all already knew. But it's written in their books. And it goes into the spirit, the soul, and the body. You see that? Very, very, very interesting. Very interesting. So when you look at the spirit, soul, and the body, we are the only ones who have all three pertaining to the Bible. Other nations may have that soul and that body in a little uniqueness, but for the most part, those who have a godly spirit, it's the Negroes and the Native Indians. And I say Native Indians because we are the people of the Bible. We are the Israelites. Psalms 104 and 30. Actually, let's go to Matthew 10 to 28, because which is more real, the body or the soul? Which is more real? That's another good question. Which one is more real? Is it the body or the soul? Now that y'all know what the soul is, because the soul is basically just an emotional thing. It makes up who you are. Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. Matthew 10 and 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. Okay, so now, like I told you, who's going to kill the soul if it's connected to the body? YAHAWAH. He's going to kill both of them, the soul and the body, if you're not keeping the law, statutes, commandments. It says, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. That's for all those brothers and sisters who are not trying to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and not have the fear of the Most High in their spirit. That's what it's talking about. Soul and body. Okay. So you could also sell your soul. Like Esau. Esau sold his soul. That's what made him. That's why the Most High hated him. That's why he has no repentance coming. He sold his soul. And a lot of people who sell their soul normally reap the benefits of destruction that the one they sold to. They go down laying in that same infested bed. They're going to get the same thing, those who sold their soul. Because he ain't no better than the one he sold his soul to. Let's go to James chapter 2. The book of James. James chapter 2, verse 26. James 2 and 26. And it reads, for as the body without the spirit is dead. Is it making sense now? So faith without works is dead also. So faith without works, y'all know what the works are, right? The works are keeping the laws. So faith without keeping the works is dead also. So he's telling you that the body and the soul need the spirit of the Most High. All three do go together. And that's what they were not telling you in this compact Bible dictionary. They don't want you to get into the kingdom. You got more truth out of Webster's New World Dictionary. They told you the real meaning, the law is spiritual. It's a beautiful thing to know the truth. Look at how the world is today. We're being taught by all these other nations, and their education has nothing to do with spirit building. None of it. You don't believe me? Just look at the schools today. Look at all these elementary schools, these high schools, and look around the school. What do you see around that school? You see police cars. If they was teaching life to these children, if they was teaching the true proper education to our children, why would they need cop cars? And it's not necessarily for those who are outside trying to get into the school, but it's really for those who are in the school who are always fighting and doing crazy stuff all the time. They're showing you that their knowledge of the world is vain, that it's nothing, and it doesn't hold a candle to the Most High. So here we are thinking that the school's supposed to be holding a high prestige on our children, and they're not. Our children are being taught garbage. That's what they're being taught. Most of the time they're giving our children things that would go in one ear and out the other. To the outside world, most of our children are categorized basically as young thugs and baby mamas. That's how the world looks at our children today. And it's a terrible thing when you think about that. Let's go back to James 2:26. It says, for as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. So in the school, without the law of the Most High first, what kind of faith do these children have? They don't have no faith. It's all in the information and the education that they're learning. It's everything that they get in the future is basically all by chance. They go to school, they go to college, and a lot of times they major in a field, and they try to get into that field, and they can't even get into the field. Everything is by chance. Let's look at Romans 7 about how the law is spiritual. Let's go to 7 and 12 first. Romans 7 and 12. It reads, wherefore the law is holy, and we know what holy means. Holy means to separate, to be separate and held for the Most High. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy and just and good. So it's telling you right there. It says, was that then which is good made death unto me? God forbid. So he's telling you, you got to have the spirit of the Most High. But sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good, that sin by the commandment might become exceeding sinful. And that's talking about the sacrificial laws. It says, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Why is he carnal? Because the soul of him is reaching for the vainness of this earth. His soul and his body is reaching for the vain. So you have to become spiritual. You have to understand why Hamashayach Yahushua died. It says, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that do I not. Why is he fighting this up? Because he's trying to keep the law. But what I hate, that do I. If then I do that which I would not, I consent unto the law that is good. So he's telling you all this fighting that I'm doing is because I'm consenting to the law. And that's allowing me to remain spiritual. Okay? That's what it's all about. Go to verse 25. It says, I thank the Most High through Hamashayach Yahushua, our Hamashayach. So then with the mind I myself serve the law of the Most High. But with the flesh, the law is of sin. Okay, why is the law of sin? For one, it's the sacrifices, right? They were fighting. You got to understand history. This is where history comes in at. And this is where most people don't understand what Paul is talking about. He's telling you the law is good. But the inward man is fighting against something that they had done for generations and generations and generations, which was sacrifice animals' flesh. This is something that's hard to break. You look at our people today, it's hard to break out of the stuff that we're used to doing, the Christmas traditions and the Thanksgiving traditions. That's a law unto itself that our people keep that's causing them to die. You see? So this is the inner man. That's that body and soul. That's not the spirit of the Most High. The spirit would keep them from doing that. So they got to unite all three and get the girt and the faith and the understanding of having good works by not doing those things. That's what's important. So, I mean, y'all know why the Ten Commandments was created? Because we got 613 laws. You know why the Most High specified 10 commandments? The main reason why he specified 10 commandments is because those are the main ones that we break on a day-to-day basis. That's why those 10 commandments stand out more so than the other 613 laws. We break those other ones on a day-to-day basis. Okay? Most brothers don't have a problem with fighting with homosexuality. They know they ain't supposed to do that. Naturally, instinctively, they know if they were raised by a father and mother, they ain't supposed to do that. Okay? And if your family was in the law already and you was born, you know you wouldn't be eating no pork. But naturally, we fight against the things that, okay, put it to you this way. When you see the fourth commandment, which is honor the Sabbath day. And let's go to Exodus 20 real quick. Exodus chapter 20, and let's read verse 1. It says, And the Most High spoke all these words, saying, I am the Most High thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I the Lord thy power am a jealous power, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Now, it says, thou shalt not take the name of the Most High thy power in vain, for the Most High will not hold him guiltless and take his name in vain. So, the first 7 verses, the Most High is telling you not to build any idols. The brother YAHAWAH did a class on that. The Most High is telling you to keep his name out your mouth when you're talking in vain things. Basically, he's saying honor his name. The very next thing that comes after that is remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Now, why is that in there after that? Why is the Sabbath day so important? You brothers and sisters have to remember, the Sabbath day was the second thing that we broke. That's why he's putting that there next. Remember Nehemiah? What was he fighting against? He's fighting against the people bringing vendors into the gates of Israel. That was the second thing. Once we broke that Sabbath day, that's when the curses really fell on us. That's when they start falling on us one by one, those curses. Okay? It says, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Most High thy power. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Most High made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Most High blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. That was the second greatest commandment right there. After he created the earth. Everything, all creation worshiped the Most High when he created it. But the second thing was the rest day, the rest. And that was from evening to evening. Brothers have a problem with breaking that down. It's very simple. Evening, you look at the sun, they go down, that's evening. Then the next evening. So Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. I see all these debates on breaking down the evening and this and that. It's not that hard. I don't even get involved with this crazy stuff. Brothers send me videos like, look at this. I don't even watch them videos because it's simple. It's reprobatism. So evening to evening, it's simple. But the Sabbath day was one of the first things that we, second things that we broke that the Most High got angry with us at. Okay, so we got to keep those Sabbath days. So that's going into the what? Spirit, soul, and the body again. That's what we have to understand. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2 and 7 real quick. The book of Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. And the Most High thy power formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul. That should be a hint right there. What is the breath of life? The spirit. And man became a living soul. So those three are connected when the spirit is there. When the spirit is not there, the soul and the body is not connected. Let's go to Galatians 5 and 16. That's why we gotta love our brethren, man, because they're walking around here with just a body and a soul. You wonder why they're doing all these ruthless acts, killing one another and talking bad about each other, and you know, laughing at brothers that fall and stumble. That's another thing. When you see brothers fall and stumble, don't laugh at them. The Most High will speedily bring that same thing back on you. Don't laugh at a brother that stumbles. Galatians chapter 5 verse 16. Galatians chapter 5 and 16. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. So he's telling us to keep that spirit with us. Verse 17. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against, it's a war, just like Paul said, constant battle. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. So you don't want your growth to be stunted by the flesh, by the body and the soul warring against the spirit. It's constantly trying to reject that spirit off of it, because we are living in the last days. Oh, don't think that the Most High ain't coming. He's coming. And he's coming. He's getting off his throne. When he stands up off his throne, y'all better watch out. He don't get off his throne unless it's something serious. It's going to be drastic. So, you know, you got to keep that spirit connected to the soul and the body. You know, and that's what allows us to keep moving on. All right. And that's what the Most High wants us to, that's what he wants to see. So this body that connects to the spirit, that's what you got to understand. It basically what it is, it's a signed contract. When you said that you believed in the Most High, so now guess what? You're his. Once you said that you believed, you're connected. And there ain't no escaping that. You try to escape from him, he'll pull you right back. And you keep trying to escape, eventually he'll just let you go. Let's go to 1 Corinthians. That's why you got to have mercy on brothers, because you don't know the Most High. You don't know what he's trying to do. You know, he might do him like the prodigal son. Let him go slap with the pigs for a little while and party, and then he come back and the Most High take him in with open arms. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19. He says, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of the Most High, and ye are not your own? Does that make sense now? He said that the Holy Spirit, which is in you, that means that spirit is connected to your soul and body. That should make plenty of sense now. You are not your own once that spirit connects with you. For ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify the Most High in your body. See that? Connection. And in your spirit, which are the Most High's. Those things are connected, and the Most High owns you now. Well, he's always owned you. He created you, but he don't want you if you ain't trying to seek him. That's why he says, seek me early, so I can put my spirit on you and get you covered. It's insurance. That's all it is. So now that you see that your body is not yours, it's not your own, know that you now have a label on you with instructions. You know, you ever see like a bottle at the store that got instructions on it? Well, that's you now. You also got a warning label as well on your body. Okay. Let's see what I'm talking about. Let's go to John 15:7. Most High treats you just like his favorite bottle on the shelf. Remember, he said he made that difference with he made that parable with the potter's clay. Well, what happens when that potter's clay hardens? You become a product of the Most High. John chapter 15, verse 7. Gospel of John 15:7. And it reads, "If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you." Anything that you ask the Most High for, he'll give it to you. Anything. It ain't hard for him to give it to you. He controls everything. He created all things. All things. Even the doctors, and even your boss, he created everything. Ask him and he will give it to you. Let's go to John 8. Remember that when you pray to him. He'll give you anything you want because you're a believer. You're the children of the Most High. It's in your DNA. It's in your blood. John chapter 8, verse 31. Then said YAHAWAH to those Jews which believed on him, "If you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed." You see that? So he's telling the disciples, you're going to continue in my word as long as you believe. Basically, he's not going to take it away from you. I had a dream once, and I don't like to talk about my dreams, but I've had a lot of prophetic dreams in my time. And, there's a sister, I got to say this, there's a sister who was trying to get on the conference call. I didn't call her. Forgive me, sister, if you're listening. I'm going to reach out to you. I just haven't got around to you. I know she wanted to talk to me about something, so I'll call her. But I had a dream once, and I don't know how it happened, but I was up in the realm, in the heavenly realm, and I was sitting on a chair, and it was actually an Edomite lady working on my brain. And the doctor came around. Well, he looked like a doctor. It was a brother, and basically the Edomite was his servant, and she was working on me. I don't know if she was fixing me or what, but I started to giggle about something. I don't know what it was, but something was funny to me. It tickled me. I started laughing, and he walked around and he whispered in my ear. He said, "You better stop that giggling, because I'll take all those scriptures out of your head and put you back on the earth with those scriptures." And so next thing I know, I was downtown San Francisco. Everything, it was like a huge earthquake had hit. Everything was flattened in San Francisco, downtown San Francisco. I was looking at rubble when I arrived back on the earth. And I had a job to do, and that was continue to push the truth, and teach people about his word. But I'll never forget that dream. It was crazy. Yeah, so the Most High sends visions to people, and he sends dreams, and there's truth to a lot of it. But it's just interesting. But anyways, when you read how the Most High said his word will stay in you, that's what I was thinking about during that dream. Like, he could pull it out if you acting a fool. He could take his word from you. And so you got to be careful on what we do. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 18. Ezekiel chapter 18, and let's go to verse 24. Ezekiel 18, and this is what happens when you get that spirit and you reject that spirit, the Holy Spirit. Ezekiel 18:24. But when the righteous turn away from his righteousness, and committeth iniquity, and doth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness that he hath done, everything that you did in the truth, shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he hath trespassed, and in his sin that he hath sinned, in them shall he die. Yet ye say, the way of the Most High is not equal. No, so the Most High, he's telling you what you must do and what you must not do. It says, hear now, O house of Israel, is not my way equal? Are not your ways unequal? When a righteous man turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity and dieth in them, for his iniquity that he hath done, shall he die. So he's telling you that if you turn away and you don't heed to that warning that's on you, he'll allow you to die in sin. So that's another thing that we have to consider. The Most High ain't playing with us. So we got to be happy to serve the Most High. We got to know what's coming as well. You know, give this some serious thought. You got to give it some serious thought. The Most High is coming. And these people, oh boy, they don't know what the Most High is about to bring on this earth. I truly tell you, you will want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments and follow the Most High. Let's go to Luke. Luke chapter 1. Luke 1 and 46. Luke chapter 1 and 46. It reads, this is Mary. It says, and Mary said, my soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit hath rejoiced in the Most High my Savior. So she's talking about her soul and her spirit. Now you know what the soul is. You should recognize what the spirit is as well. Let's jump up to 45. And blessed is she that believes. So you got to believe first. See, when you believe, there's a fear in you and an understanding of knowing who is the Creator. It says, for there shall be a performance of those things which were told her from the Most High. She believed on him. So this is your mind and your spirit. Okay? Do you know how bad these other nations want to be you? They want to be you so bad. They want to have that spirit that Jacob has. They want it bad. How many of y'all seen Get Out? Y'all seen Get Out, right? That movie right there has a lot of stuff in there, a lot of little goodies in there that you could go into and teach from the Bible. A lot of goodies. The overall understanding of that movie was basically they wanted the fourth son of Jacob's blessing. They wanted that spirit. Who's the fourth son of Jacob? Judah. They wanted that blessing, that spirit. Esau's constantly trying to get that spirit back. When you look at that movie, I think the brother that's the antagonist, the main brother in the movie, they wanted his eyes and his brains. I guess his eyes was going to a blind guy. And he wanted to see out them eyes. And you know what they say about the eyes? The eyes are the key to the soul. Right? Key to the window, it's the window of the soul. So they was trying to get his eyes. But that movie is a good movie. You got to see that movie. Very good movie. You know, this is why they like to keep us subdued. When you see stuff like that, it helps you understand why they try to always discourage us or try to keep us down. They know that we are the children of the Most High. When they treat you evil or just mean to you, you know, and go after your morality, it's just satanic. It's just the way the Most High made them. We're inferior to their race because they know who we are. They know that their kingdom is coming to an end, and that's why they antagonize. They antagonize us. You see some of your bosses or some people at your job might be antagonizing you. They do that stuff on purpose. They do it intentionally. Okay? This is what they say when you are in the spirit. That's what it's talking about. You see all of that stuff. You see it. You can feel it. And it ain't just us. It's all brothers and sisters. They all feel it. You know? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 15 to 35. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 35. But some man will say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come? So who's going to say this? All these Edomites, all these other nations, when they see us raised from the dead, they're going to be like, how are these people numbered amongst the children of the Most High? Where are they coming from? How did they get these bodies? Excuse me. That's what they're going to do. So we have to understand that according to prophecy, this is what's going to happen. You know, when you look at America, I was watching the news the other day, and it's amazing how these immigrants are coming over to America and speaking English. They're picking it up very quickly to get into this country. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but immigrants learn English quickly, quicker than we can learn their languages. And when you look across the globe, even in the third world countries, what's the second language that most of them speak? Most of the second languages that most of these countries speak is English. So when it comes to our people, we've been speaking English for a long time being over here. And when we travel the globe, say we go on vacation, or we fly somewhere on business, and they see us, they automatically think we speak English just because we're U.S. Negroes, okay, or U.S. blacks. They automatically see us as speaking English, okay. But it's the reason behind us speaking English. I know many of you know that this Bible was printed off the printing press. The King James Bible was printed in 1611. Now we came over here on slave ships in 1619. Some say we came over here 100 years before that from Europe, in the 1500s. But when we got over here, we all spoke a common language, which was English. They took away our mother tongue and gave us English as our mother tongue, which is a Babylonian language. That's why when you read Isaiah chapter 28 and 9, it says, with another tongue he shall speak stammering lips to his people. What is that stammering lips? That is speaking another language, which is English. But what y'all don't understand is the Most High setting this whole thing up with us speaking English. Your sea merchants speak English. Your air pilots speak English. Okay? Anything dealing with your transportation, they gotta speak English. Okay, so when the Most High comes back, where's that scripture in Jeremiah? Let me get that real quick. In the book of Jeremiah, I think it's chapter 23. Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 8. Let's read this. It says, but the Most High, hold on. Right here, it says, let's read verse 7. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Most High liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. Do y'all know what this means? If we're coming from all other countries, if we're coming from the north country, and we're going to take out these nations, guess what we're going to speak to them? Are we going to speak Hebrew to them? Are we going to speak Greek to them? No. We're going to be those great people coming from America. They're going to speak to us in English. They right away going to see us as being an American people, and they're going to speak to us in English. That's why the Most High allowed this English to spread all over the globe. Because we're going to rule the earth, and when we talk to these other nations, they're going to come to us speaking English. Isaiah 49 and 23. Let's go there real quick. Think about that. Isaiah 49:23. And it reads, and kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet, And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me. These nations are going to come crawling to us after America is destroyed. And what are they going to come crawling, telling us? They're going to be talking in English to us. All these nations. That's why the Most High had this English spread. Everything is spiritual. It's a reason why the English language is here. It's a reason why the children of Israel speak in English and not Hebrew. You got to think about the spiritualness behind it. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5.
I missed that. My phone went through. What was that scripture?
Isaiah 49 and 23 says.
Isaiah
49
and
23.
And 23?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
And now we're in Wisdom of Solomon. We're in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1 in the Apocrypha. And it reads, Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. Do you know this ain't just talking about over here in America? This is talking about all over the earth. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, This was he whom we had sometimes in derision, and a proverb of everybody looks at the American Negro as the base people of the earth. It says, We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of the Most High? His lot is among the saints. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through deserts, where they lay no way. But as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it. So why is this? When they see us coming from America into these other countries, they're going to be shocked. And they're going to come running to us speaking English. Okay? We're not going to speak to them in Hebrew. We're going to be speaking English to them. Let's go to Micah chapter 4. But eventually, the Most High is going to change everything back over to Hebrew. Micah chapter 4, verse 2. And many nations shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Most High, and to the house of the Most High of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Most High from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off. This ain't happened yet. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. This is what's coming. And it's going to be with us. That's what you have to understand. When the Most High says we're going to do these things, he said that we will be kings and queens on the earth. Do you know brothers and sisters don't know how to be kings and queens today? Brothers don't even study how to be a king. I advise that many brothers and sisters out there need to start reading up on how to be a king. Reading up on how to be a priest. It ain't going to just come by night. You need to learn it. Learn it now. Because that's what's happening. We are becoming kings and priests. Let's go to Revelations chapter 5. Even those brothers calling themselves priests don't study up on how to be a priest the way they should. Revelation chapter 5 and 10. It says, And has made us unto our power kings and priests, and we shall reign on the what? On the earth. This is where we're going to reign, here. Not up in the spirit world. It's going to be here on the earth. That's what we have to understand. We have to prepare ourselves for this coming. And we have to have wisdom. We have to have kindness. We have to have regalness. We have to have boldness. We have to love our people. We can't... Y'all ever see that movie Black Panther? The brother that played Black Panther's brother. You know why he couldn't rule that kingdom? Because he was trying to rule it in anger. We ain't gonna be able to rule no kingdom in anger, Akim. It ain't gonna happen. So we have to rule in meekness and humbleness. Okay? This is what we have to be taught. I want to go to Sirach chapter 4. Most High ain't gonna let us rule the kingdom in anger. Sirach chapter 4 verse 1. It says, My son, defraud not the poor of his living, and make not the needy eyes to wait long. I'm going to drop down to 14. It says, They that serve her shall minister to the Holy One, and them that love her the Lord doth love. Whoso giveth ear unto her shall judge the nations, meaning the wisdom of the Most High. And he that attendeth unto her shall dwell securely. If a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her, and his generations shall hold her in possessions, the wisdom of the Most High. For at the first she will walk with him by crooked ways. That's what we're going through now. The wisdom is walking with you through crooked ways, like the rest of us. And bring fear and dread upon him, and torment him with her discipline, until she may trust his soul, and try him by her laws. Then will she return the straight way unto him, and comfort him, and show him her secrets. See that? So this is what we have to learn from wisdom. And this is how we're going to rule the kingdom. We have to be comforted and know how to steer a country in the law, statutes, and commandments. This is what we have to learn. Let's go to Romans chapter 12 and 1. Romans 12. Romans 12 verse 1. What time is it? Romans 12 and 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice. That's a hard thing to do. You're giving up everything to serve the Most High. Your body becoming a sacrifice means that you are controlling your soul and all your wants to be spiritual. It says, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service. Now that goes with Romans chapter 7 that we read about how the law is holy. Okay, so that's how you know that the spirit, the soul, and the body are one, and the spirit has to deal with the law. And he not conformed to this world, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good, that acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as the Most High have dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have members in one body, all members have not the same office. You don't think the Most High knows what he sent here on the earth? He knows exactly who we are. He's looking down from the heavens right now in another dimension at us right this moment, and all the angels. You got to understand too that we're going to be greater than the angels. That's another thing. The angels ain't been through nothing. They're working, but they haven't been through no tribulation like us. So we're going to be judges over the angels. We're going to be like their boss. That's what you got to understand. But right now, we got to follow the orders of the angels. If the Most High send an angel and say, go do something, you better not tell the angel, no, I ain't doing it. Because that angel is the mouthpiece of the Most High. That's what that angel is. Just like YAHAWAH, he is the angel. He is the mouthpiece of the Most High. So what he says do it. Very, very serious. Verse 4. For as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, so we being many are one body in Hamashayach, and every one members one of another, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us. Whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. There it is, faith again. Or ministry, let us wait on our ministering. Or he that teacheth on teaching. Or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. Meaning you have to have that wisdom that we just read about in Sirach chapter 4. He that ruleth with diligence, he that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. That's why when we're in the earth, we got to be we have to be kind to people. That's another thing. Learn to be kind to people, especially now. Being kind allows you to stand out even more during these days and times, because people are not kind at all these days. So for you to do it will allow you to stand out even more than most people. And people won't forget you. In order to show a regalness, you have to perform that regalness on a day-to-day basis, where people can see it in you. You can't walk around like you're mad and angry. You have to actually show how the Most High is to people. Even though we can't stand some of the Edomites here, or all, so some brothers say all of them, you still got to show that regalness, because they did what they were supposed to do. They did their job. They did their job while they was here, which was what? Putting us in captivity and causing affliction on us. That was their job. They don't know what they're doing. The Most High got them moving that way. He wants us to get it right. We can't even keep the Sabbath day right. He wants us to get back in line. That's what the Most High wants us to do. It's just think, when we accomplish our goal and we get into the kingdom, it's going to be infinite happiness. Y'all understand what that is? Infinite happiness? I don't think any of us have ever seen that before. Just happiness amongst everyone. Abundant happiness. That's what we're shooting for. We're trying to get into that kingdom. Verse 9. Let love be without dissimulation. Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good. Be kindly affection one to another with brotherly love. In honor preferring one another. Not slothful in business. Fervent in spirit. Serving the Most High. Rejoicing in hope. Patient in tribulation. Continuing instant in prayer. That's another one. Distributing to the necessity of saints, given to hospitality. See that? That hospitality has to be more extreme than what they call the southern hospitality. We got to be better than that. And then he tells you, bless them which persecute you, which is a hard one. It says, bless and curse not. He says, rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep. Think about when YAHAWAH was on the earth. When he was on the earth, besides going toe-to-toe with the Sadducees and the Pharisees, did he not establish love amongst his brethren wherever he went? Did he not actually do kind things to his people? You know, when he went to the wedding and he turned the water to wine, that was a kind gesture. You know, that's the level of integrity that we have to get to. And you know, even myself talking, I have to try my best to get to that point too. But it's what we shoot for. It's something that we work on day to day. And you know, there's so much entertainment in the world, even in the Hebrew Israelite world, you know, where sometimes some of the videos from some brothers and sisters actually look like a joke, because all the bickering and fighting is so familiar to the wilderness, you know, of Exodus and Numbers, where we got to get out of that mode. It's so easy to get caught up with that stuff on the Instagram, you know, and brothers slandering other brothers and showing how much they know on somebody who don't know anything, So it's just a progression. It's just a growth. You got to grow in this truth. And the more you grow, the wiser you should be getting, not becoming less wiser or domineering. That's what we need to work on. And so with that, I'm going to end class tonight. And just remember, the Most High loves you. And YAHAWAH loves you, and so do I. And all.
This is the word of the Lord of hosts. I took you from the pastures and from following the sheep to be prince over my people Israel. I have been with you wherever you have gone and have destroyed all the enemies in your path. I will make you a great name among the great ones of the earth. I will assign a place for my people in Israel. There I will plant them, and they shall dwell in their own land.